Larry tried to kill me.
Yeah. I was so thoroughly disgusted.
I mean, think about it. Why does it make you special to do what you do?
Packers jumping around. They rush four. Plenty of time for John. Now squeezes, steps up in the pocket. Elliott can run inside the 10. Head first. He dives off the 5-yard line. My goodness.
Rushing forward, ball comes out of the hands of Newton. It's on the ground, and it's still on the ground. Picked up by T.J. Ward at the 4-yard line.
There's also Brian Clady and Bob Miller. Third and long 3. Going deep. Oh, and he's got Thomas. Goodbye. Touchdown.
Here we go. First snap of the overtime. The Broncos have been in 3 overtime games this year. They won them all. Got him at the 40. It's Thomas at the 50. Stifford got him 3 to the 30. To the 20. Thomas to the 10. Denver's going on to New England. They win it on the first play of overtime.
Hello, Bronco fans and football fans everywhere. Welcome to Broncos Breakdown on the MHRT Network. This is a show that is everything Broncos and brought to you with passion, emotion, and honesty. I am your host, Bronco Bill. All right, guys. I want to start off with something positive. And I know this is gonna come out sounding facetious. And maybe to some degree it is, but with the Broncos record of 3-9, I guess the silver lining is the fact that the season's almost over. And I know that that's not a positive of sorts. Can it get any worse than what we are now? Well, there's a lot of topics, guys, and they're not positive. What do you want me to do? What do you want me to say? Do you want me to come on here and just say, hey, Broncos are 11-1? Yeah, I wish I could. Absolutely, I wish I could. I guess I can. It'll be a lie, and that's not what I do. All right, guys. Before I get into it, a shout out to Avatar. Avatar was thinking, he says he was thinking of me when I heard the news about Deion Sanders becoming a head coach of the Colorado Buffs. I'm going to get into that story. I will bring that in a little bit. Avatar, always great to have you in the house. Always appreciate it. Very, very much. I totally agree with you, Avatar, on this. Really missed Demaryius Thomas. Absolutely. Absolutely. Such a tragic loss earlier in the year. And, way, way, way too young. All right, let's get into the topics. Last week, Denver at Baltimore. Denver led the Ravens for 59 minutes of the entire game with a 9-0 and 9-3 lead until the last drive. The defense again gave up a touchdown. Now, I've had people mention to me through phone calls or text or whatever, say, hey, Bronco Bill, is it the defense's fault that the Broncos lost? Well, they're the ones that gave up the touchdown. But can we really put it all on the defense? My answer to that, absolutely not. It's not the defense, and I'll get into a great statistic later on. Absolutely great statistic on what the defense is doing. The thing is, it's not all the defense's fault. When you got the defense asked to not give up a touchdown with the score 9-3, and the Ravens being the Ravens. Now, Lamar Jackson got hurt in that game on a sack. He hurt his leg or his knee. In comes the backup quarterback. He's the one that drove him down the field. But again, is it the defense's fault 100% entirely? No, absolutely not. It's the offense who can't generate more than field goals. That's the problem. Is it a coaching situation? We won't know until we have a new head coach. And if this continues next year under a new head coach, assuming that Hackett won't be back, then we'll find out where the problem really lies. Coaching or Wilson? We won't know 100% guaranteed until next season if we have a new head coach. I continue. This is the third game in which Denver has only managed 9 points. Third game. That's crazy. That's unheard of. Okay? Earlier, the Broncos lost 12-9 to the Colts, 16-9 to the Jets, and now 10-9 to the Ravens. Out of the 12 games played this season, 10 games have been decided by one score. Whether they won the game or they lost, it was decided by one score, 10 out of these 12 games. Is Denver as bad as their 3-9 record, or is it a combination of coaching and injuries? Well, like I mentioned earlier, we won't know if it's coaching. We won't know if it's Wilson. We won't know if it's play calls, game management. We won't know any of that. But I do know that injuries have played a major part. Absolutely. Along with the offensive line. Our offensive line is porous at best. Absolutely. And of course, we have injuries there, but we also have the talent level is not up to NFL standards or Bronco standards for that matter. All you have to do is go back to the John Elway years with Terrell Davis and that offensive line. That was a magnificent offensive line. Absolutely. And that's what Denver is missing. Would that afford Wilson more time to see open receivers? Possibly. Don't know. But it definitely would keep him from being sacked or hurried or running out of the pocket. But then again, Wilson loves to run out of the pocket. He loves to run out of the pocket and create things with his legs. But he's not a spring chicken anymore. He's not. And because he's not, that's why Hackett wants to keep him in the pocket. But when you're a short quarterback like Wilson, I don't even think he's 5'11". You're not going to see over your linemen that are 6'4" and 6'5". That's why he runs out of the pocket to open spaces and lanes that he can see and then ultimately try and get to the receivers. He just doesn't have the time because his offensive line can't protect like they need to. Absolutely cannot protect. Okay. Before I get to the next time, Avatar says, we really need a superb play caller on offense. I totally agree. My question to you, Avatar, let me ask you this, okay? Is Clint Kubiak a good play caller, or do we need somebody else? That's my question to you. You said we need a superb play caller on offense. Okay. Are you talking quarterback? I don't think so because we got Wilson. But I think you're referring to either Hackett calling the plays, which is not anymore, or Clint Kubiak calling the plays. So I'd like to know what you think about that, Avatar. Are you saying that you want to replace Clint Kubiak, or the plays need to be more adjusted to Russell Wilson, or a combination of both? I'd like to know what you think. Okay, let's go to. There's a lot of talk about what I'm about ready to bring up, and I'm not making a big deal about it, but others are, especially on Twitter. Here it is. Alex Singleton. Last week's promo about the Broncos game against the Ravens featured Alex Singleton as the face of the Broncos instead of Russell Wilson. Many people took to Twitter stating that Wilson has been replaced as the face of the franchise. I totally disagree. Absolutely, totally disagree. The reason why I think he was replaced is because the defense is doing so well. They're a shut-down defense. And like I said, I'll get to those stats here in a few minutes. So why would you put Wilson on the cover when the offense isn't producing? That doesn't make any sense. But Twitter and people on Twitter blew up saying, oh, no, Wilson's being replaced as the face of the Broncos. That's not true. In my opinion, that's not true. But since the defense is doing outstanding, why not put a defensive player on there? I continue. I see it as the defense is getting the spotlight, like I mentioned, due to how good they are despite the poor record. Absolutely. It's not the defense's fault, the reason why the Broncos are 3-9. They're holding their own. They're absolutely going above and beyond their own. Like I mentioned earlier, 10 of the 12 games the Broncos have played have resulted in one score difference. Whether they won the game or they lost the game, it's a one score difference. How is that on the defense? It can't be on the defense. I mean, when the defense is out there as long as they have been in some of these games. Now, last game, they were out there quite a bit as well. But the Broncos got turnovers. I mean, Justin Simmons. Justin Simmons got 2 interceptions. One of them was deep in Ravens territory. And all the Broncos got was a field goal. It's been that way all year, guys. The defense is doing their part. They're basically going up to Russell Wilson, Nathaniel Hackett, and the entire offense going, hey, here, I gave you the football. Please get a touchdown. Nope. Field goals. Field goals. That's it. And you're not going to win games by just kicking field goals. You're not. You need to get touchdowns. And that's why Denver lost last week, because they only got 3 field goals for 9 points. Baltimore got a late touchdown, won the game 10-9. That's why. All right. Avatar is answering my question of in regards to superb play caller. I think Clint is using Hackett's plays, so I don't know if he is that bad. Great point. Really, really good point, Avatar. Really good point. I think you're absolutely 100% spot on. If he's using Hackett's plays and Wilson's not comfortable with those plays, there's your result. There is your result. However, I'm hoping, although it's probably too late in the season now, but I'm hoping that I'm hoping that Clint Kubiak is mixing in some of what Russell Wilson likes to do, like roll out, give him a little bit of extra space that he can either run it or he can, throw it to a receiver, whatever. Now, like last week on the last drive, trying to get down to win the game with yet a field goal, Wilson ran out of the pocket. There was only a few seconds left, and he managed to get out of bounds. The problem was the field goal length was like 64, 65 yards. And McManus just doesn't have the leg to get that distance. And it fell short. And the final score was 10-9. Wilson did what he absolutely could do. And maybe that's part of Clint Kubiak's play calling. Maybe, like I said, he's mixing in some of Russell Wilson's plays that he likes to run. But I think you nailed it quite well, Avatar, when you said that he's using Nathaniel Hackett's plays and yet mixing them up just a little bit and trying to create a more positive offensive production. Like I said, we won't know anything and everything until next year if Hackett is gone and we have another head coach. Then hopefully things will get straightened out and worked out. Okay. Just the 5th team in NFL history to do this. Yep. Involves the Broncos, of course. Last Sunday, Denver became just the 5th team since the start of 2017 to lose when allowing exactly 10 points. In that same span of time, teams that yielded 10 points had a combined record 135 wins, 5 losses. Denver is on the second number, 5, the 5th team to have that happen. That is a 964 win percentage. Denver gave up 10 points and lost. And that was only the 5th team since 2017. Actually, 140 teams. 140 games, I should say. 140 games. 140 teams for a combined 135 wins and 5 losses. That's not a record you want to be in the record books as an organization. Absolutely, you don't want to have that in the record books. But that's the kind of year the Broncos are having. And there's no way to sugarcoat it, guys. I mean, like I said, I could come in here and just start rattling off some great stuff and talk about the 1997-98 Denver Broncos, back-to-back Super Bowl champions. I could talk about how great it was to have Peyton Manning here for 4 years, winning the division 4 straight years in a row, 2 Super Bowls, 1 championship. Oh, sure. I could come in here and talk about this all time, the entire show. But it's not reality of where we are today. Was it reality then? Absolutely it was. And I cherish those games, cherish those seasons, because it was fun. This isn't fun. This isn't fun watching the team the way it is. Absolutely not. But I have to give you reality. I have to give you truth. I'm not going to make stuff up. It's not what I do. All right? It's not what I do. All right. Before I go to the next topic, Martin Fallon 87 says the defense is doing all the work. Offense ain't doing nothing. Bingo. Nailed it, Martin. Absolutely nailed it. The offense ain't doing squat. Nothing. And when you get turnovers deep in the Ravens zone from Justin Simmons' interception, and you can't score a touchdown, and all you can get is 3. Yeah, the defense is doing all the work. They are, like I said earlier, they're handing the football to the offense on a silver platter with the interceptions or the fumble recoveries that they've had in previous games. And the offense isn't doing anything. Nothing positive. Now, I'm not saying that they haven't, had some great plays. There was a great play that Russell Wilson threw to Jerry Jeudy down the left sideline. Deep from his own end zones, like a 40-some-odd yard pass. That was phenomenal. Absolutely. But it's few and far between. That's for sure. And when they get down inside the red zone or even inside the 30-yard line of the opposing team, they fizzle out. I'm like 3rd and 6, 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6. They run the ball. Nowhere. Why not fake it? Why not roll out? Why not be creative? It goes back to what Avatar was saying. And when he said that he feels that Clint Kubiak is using Nathaniel Hackett's playbook. Well, that's not going to work. But if Nathaniel Hackett says, hey, these are the plays we're using, what's Clint supposed to do? He's not the head coach. He has to do what the head coach is saying. And it's not working. Absolutely not working. Is the defense getting frustrated? Oh, heck yeah. They are. They're as frustrated, if not more so, than we are as fans. Broncos country is livid with the way this season's going. We thought it was bad with Vance Joseph. We thought it was bad with Vic Fangio. I didn't think it could get any worse than those two guys. But unfortunately, it has. It absolutely has. And just to reiterate what I was saying, it said Martin continued, said the offense is the reason they took off Broncos versus Kansas City from television Sunday night, this coming Sunday. Absolutely. Do you think that the NFL wants to see Patrick Mahomes? Oh, they do. Just not against the Broncos. Why? I've been explaining the whole time why. Because we can't score points. The NFL doesn't want to see and I know the defense is solid, and I know that they haven't given up that many points all season. I understand that. Problem is this. The NFL doesn't want to see the Broncos game because they don't score points. And it's not a draw right now. The only draw that would happen if Kansas City and Denver was on Sunday Night Football would be Patrick Mahomes and to see if they could blow out the Broncos like 35-9. That's why. But that's not going to happen. Why? Because the NFL doesn't want that type of game. So they dropped the Broncos back to the 105 slot in the Pacific time zone, 205 in Denver on Sunday, and inserted the Dolphins and Chargers. Why? Because the Dolphins score and the Chargers score. And it'll still draw people that are on the AFC West because the Chargers are in the AFC West, just like Denver and Kansas City. That's why. And you nailed it again, Martin. The offense is the absolute reason. If the Broncos averaged even 17 points a game, we probably would still be on Sunday night. Not when you're averaging 13.5 and you're only scoring 9 3 times. What can I say? I mean, it's black and white, guys. I'm not making this stuff up. I couldn't make this up. Nobody would believe it. I have a hard time believing the reality of this. Absolutely. It's mind-boggling. Okay, I move on. Speaking of Denver's defense, in the Super Bowl era from 1966 to now, the Broncos are the 70th team to allow 17 or fewer touchdowns in their first 12 games. That is phenomenal. That is phenomenal. As good as that is, there is a bad side to this. And it's not the defense's fault. We've already established that. None of the first 69 teams on that list were worse than 6-6 through 12 games. Denver's in the record books again on the negative side? Yeah. The average win total for those teams through 12 games is 9 wins. Denver is 3-9. Not 9-3, 3-9. Did you get that, guys? The defense has only allowed 17 touchdowns through 12 games. That's a little over 1 a game. Barely a little over 1 a game. But they're losing because the offense can't score. I mean, how much more plain can I say it? I mean, it's right there. I just read it to you. The defense is superb. It's a solid defense. If this offense could even score 17 points in a game on average, we would not be 3-9. We would be more like, I don't know, 8-4, 9-3, easily. But the offense can't get it done. And that's the problem. But that is a remarkable stat. 17 touchdowns they've given up in 12 games. They're doing their part. Not the offense. Offense is not doing their part. None whatsoever. Okay. Let me go on to, let's see. All right. Okay. Let me go to Avatar. Avatar says Baltimore was the first team to win a game after turning the ball over twice and not getting a turnover of their own. Wow. I did not know that, Avatar. Thank you for chiming in and saying that. That's remarkable again. And think about that. They turned the ball over twice. Both times it was intercepted by Justin Simmons. One was, I believe one was in the end zone, one was in the end zone. And then the other one was deep in Baltimore territory. And Baltimore didn't get a turnover. Denver didn't turn the ball over. And they win with 10 points. I mean, I don't know what else to say, guys. I don't know what else to say. But Avatar, that was great. Great stat. I did not know that. Did not know that at all. Okay. Let's go to 6 consecutive losing seasons. Golly, that hurts to say. 6 consecutive losing seasons. Never thought I'd ever think that, let alone utter those words. Here goes. With the loss to the Ravens last Sunday, the Broncos have now clinched God, I wish I was saying they clinched the division. Man, that sounds so much better. The Broncos have now clinched their 6th straight losing season. Denver has as many. This is unbelievable. I mean, Pat Bowlen, as the owner, never had this type of outcome. Denver has as many losing seasons in the last 6 years as they did in the previous 42. That is unbelievable. 6 straight losing seasons. Denver only had 6 losing seasons in 42 years. They now have 6 in a row. Now, I'm going to ask you a question. All right? I mean, I pretty much know the answer, but I'm going to ask it anyways. 6 straight losing seasons, okay? We had 3 years with Vance Joseph. We had 3 years with Vic Fangio. We now have 1 year with Nathaniel Hackett. Common denominator, all 3 head coaches were first-year head coaches. Does that make a difference? Well, Fangio had 3 years, didn't really get any better. Joseph had 3 years, didn't really get any better. And now Hackett. So I can say it's a first-year head coach for Nathaniel Hackett, absolutely. And I could say that with Vance Joseph and Vic Fangio. But they had 2 more years each afterwards, and it didn't get better. So I don't know what the problem is. John Elway was a GM under Joseph and Fangio, and now it's George Payton. Is it GM problem? Is it a scouting problem? Is it a hiring problem? Oh, wait a minute. Oh, yeah. It's a hiring problem. You don't hire first-year head coaches. Well, unless your name is O'Connell in Minnesota. He seemed to be doing great. How about the first-year head coach in where's the other one? Is it Miami? No, I think Miami has. Yeah, I think it is Miami. I mean, sometimes it works out. Not always. And in Broncos' case, it's not working out. Absolutely not working out. So do we go to a more experienced head coach? I would certainly hope so. I would like to see a Dan Quinn. I absolutely would. Now, I'm not quite sure. There's been some talk and chatter about the Broncos interviewing Frank Reich from the Colts. He's a seasoned head coach. I don't know. I don't really know if that would work too well with Wilson. I think a Dan Quinn would work better. Absolutely much better. I just don't know if Dan Quinn is going to come to Denver. And that's another problem. Does an experienced head coach want to come to the Broncos with all of this dysfunctional situation going on? New ownership? Second-year GM? Does a seasoned head coach like, let's say, a Dan Quinn, Frank Reich, do they want to come to Denver? I don't know. Hopefully we'll find out soon enough. I don't know. And it's interesting to ponder that because, you know, that could be our Achilles heel. I don't know. All right. New position. Now, this is interesting. Per Mike Kliss of 9 News in Denver, Broncos president Damani Leach announced that Jesse Nading will be the senior vice president of strategy and business intelligence. Wait a minute. Strategy? Strategy mean what? Strategy on the field? The strategy with gameplay? How the teams run, organized? I don't know. How about business intelligence? Could that mean, signing players? The direction that the Broncos go as far as branding? I don't know. I don't know what that means. Nading will lead data-driven team focused on directing organization-wide strategies, goals, and performance. Oh, there it is. There it is in a nutshell. performance. Offensive performance? Yeah, I'm assuming. Sure. Coaching performance? Oh, yeah, absolutely. How about goals? Now, I got a goal for you. How about winning? How about having a winning season? That's a goal. There you go. Data-driven, team-focused. Data-driven. That means he's going to take the numbers and break them down. Absolutely. He's going to go over it with a fine-tooth comb. There's going to be changes, guys. There's going to be major changes come the offseason. Absolutely. And when Broncos president Damani Leach hires a senior vice president to oversee what I just mentioned in data-driven focus on directing organizational-wide strategies, goals, and performance, the ownership's not happy, guys. The ownership is not happy. I wouldn't be happy either. I know the Walton Penner ownership group is worth 70 plus billion combined, but it doesn't matter. When you drop 4.5 or 4.4 billion on a team and they're performing like this, oh yeah, there's going to be major changes. Absolutely major changes coming at in the offseason. No doubt about it. Okay, so are we going to see that product right off the bat? Probably not. They're going to evaluate. Obviously, they're going to evaluate. They're probably evaluating every single move they make. No doubt. And I heard just the other day that Rob Walton and part of the ownership group was at Dove Valley watching practices. You don't think that they've got their ear to the proverbial ground? That they're hearing scuttlebutt, they're hearing things, they're seeing things with their eyes? You don't think for one moment that they've heard the boos at Mile High Stadium? You don't think that they've seen the fans walk out of Mile High Stadium before the game was over? And one game was going to overtime and they left. Why? Because they're that fed up. The fans are that fed up. And you know the owners see that, and that's not what they bought this team for. Not whatsoever. No, that's not what they bought it. You wouldn't, if you had that kind of money, you wouldn't be happy either. And as a fan that I've been a fan since 1976, I don't like it either. And I dang sure don't like coming on Friday nights and doing this show with a negative overtone. I don't like it one bit, but I have to do it because that's the only thing that's out there. Excuse me, guys. I've said that many times. Hopefully it changes. Well, I'll get into Sunday's game here in a minute. Okay. Let's go to Martin Fallon 87 again. I wish I had a hat like yours, Bronco Bill. They don't sell anything Broncos in Texas. Well, I'll tell you what. You can go on Amazon, go on NFL. I know it's a little bit more expensive on NFL Shop, but you can go on there. This one's I've actually had. God, I've had this one for quite a while, but I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Actually, I got a lot of these hats from a friend of mine who did a lot of traveling and picked up all these different various hats. And then he saw me one day and said, "Hey, I got a bunch of hats for you." So I've given some away and some have gotten dirty and I've thrown away. But for the most part, I still have, I think I have like eight or 10. So, but no, I appreciate it a lot. But yeah, try Amazon or NFL Shop and see what you can find on there. All right. Okay. Let's go to Colorado Buffaloes. And I mentioned this, Avatar mentioned this at the top of the show in the chat. The Colorado Buffaloes have hired former NFL star Deion Sanders as their new head coach. Sanders comes to the Buffaloes from Jackson State, where he led the team to 11-1 record and and back-to-back Southwestern Athletic Conference champions in 2021 and 2022. That's remarkable. That's remarkable. Yes, Jackson State is not like USC or Notre Dame or Ohio State or Wyoming. Not Wyoming. I'm sorry. Michigan. They're not. But it doesn't matter. If you as a person, as a head coach, and Deion Sanders can get his message across to these kids and motivate them to the point of playing at a level higher than they ever thought they possibly could, that is what a head coach does. Hello, Nathaniel Hackett. Hello. Take a pointer. That's what you do. You lead. And I listened to his not acceptance speech, but his speech when they introduced him to Colorado Buffaloes, and the players were all in there listening. His first comment was, "I'm coming. I'm coming." And there's going to be attitude change, and there's going to be hard work, and there's going to be a focus on winning. And and he said this, not me, but I quote, he said this. Everybody sitting in here, not everybody that is sitting here right now is going to be on the team come next year. The ones that want to be on the team are going to work hard to be on this team. The ones that don't won't be on this team. And I don't have any problem saying that. That's Deion Sanders saying, not me. Deion Sanders says, I don't have a problem saying that. It's up to you guys. You're the one that wants to be on this team. You're going to work hard to be on this team. I'm coming. Deion Sanders says, I'm coming. But I also like what he said, because I'm not finished at Jackson State. We have a bowl game. And I'm going to that bowl game, and our team's going to that bowl game, Jackson State, and we're going there to win. We're not going there to just show up. We're not going there to just be happy that we got there. No, we are going there to win. That's the attitude. And once I'm done with Jackson State and that game is over, I'm coming. And I'm coming hard, and I'm coming strong. That's a leader, guys. That is a leader. And that's what I'm talking about. Nathaniel Hackett doesn't have that kind of drive. I haven't seen that. I mean, he's all talk, pat on the back. Hey, yeah, we got it all figured out. Everything's good. Sorry, guys. I have a tickle in my throat. Nathaniel Hackett's like, yeah, we got it all figured out. We're not going to create those problems anymore. We're done. We got that fixed. He said that after the Seattle game, week 1. It ain't fixed. Nothing is fixed on offense. None whatsoever. Deion Sanders comes in and puts his foot down and says, this is what's going to happen. This is the way we are going to run the show. Run the team. Focus. Hard work. Desire. Passion. Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to ask you guys a question. I would like you guys to chime in on this. Do you think and feel, and the reason why I'm bringing this up is because of Jeff Saturday. Jeff Saturday, former Colts center with Peyton Manning, is the head coach of the Indianapolis Colts. He got off to a good start. He's lost a couple since, but he's still their head coach. My question is this. Do you think a person like Deion Sanders would be a good head coach in Denver? It's not going to happen right now, obviously. He's on the Colorado Buffaloes. I'm just asking a question. Maybe not necessarily a Deion Sanders, but that type of motivation from a head coach. That's what we need. Do you think that a person, I should rephrase it, not necessarily Deion Sanders, but do you think and feel that a person with that kind of head coach, I don't know, what's the word I'm looking for, attitude would be what the Broncos need? I say absolutely. You know that's what we need. I know that's what we need. We need somebody who's a leader in the locker room, not just, from the players, but from the head coach to say, no, we are not putting up with this. This is changing, and it starts now. You want to be on this team? Fine. Otherwise, we'll send you a practice squad or we'll cut you. But things are going to change, and it starts now. That's what we need. And I'm not hearing that from Nathaniel Hackett. The only thing I hear from his press conference, well, it all starts with me. Yep, it starts with me, and we just got to be better. No freaking kidding. But if it starts with you, you better put your foot down. And you better put your foot down hard and say, nope, this isn't happening. Wilson, this ain't happening. Offense, you need to be better. Plain and simple. And not just say it, but do it. Get results. Put your foot down. Work them into the ground if you have to. I'm serious, guys. We cannot have this pat on the back. Everything's okay. We're going to come through. We'll be okay. No, we won't. Not with that attitude. And I love Deion Sanders' attitude. And those kids, and I say they're kids, they're in their 20s and teens possibly. Those kids looked at him and he asked for questions. He asked questions. He said, hey, got any questions out there? It was pretty quiet at first. And then some of the kids asked some questions. And Deion Sanders was right to the point. It starts now. It starts when I get here and I'm coming. And that's what you need, is that type of leader, whether it's in college ranks or in the pros. That's what you need. You cannot allow the players to run the show. The head coach has to be the head coach. And Nathaniel Hackett, in my opinion, doesn't possess that at this point in time. Maybe he will down the road. I don't think the Denver Bronco organization is going to put up with him to see if that actually works. All right. Let's go to Mark from Georgia. Bingo. Nathaniel can't hack it. That's his middle name. I like that. I've heard that several times, but I do like that. Can't hack it. Absolutely. And that's sad too. That's sad. I mean, I don't wish any ill will on Nathaniel Hackett. I wish he was better. I really do. But I don't want to go another year with him as our head coach if we have results like this. All right. Mark from Georgia also chimes in and says, for Sanders, too soon to tell right now. But yes, he doesn't put up with the BS. Absolutely. And you can't. You cannot put up with it. Because if you do, you're not running the show. You're not the head coach. The players are basically the asylums run, the inmates are running the asylum. You can't have that. That's why there's yelling on the sidelines. That's why there's dysfunctionality. Absolutely. The defense is frustrated with the offense. The offense is frustrated at themselves. They're frustrated with Hackett. They're frustrated with the play calling. The Broncos country is frustrated. That's why they walk out before the game's over. Oh my gosh. I know the game this Sunday is in Denver. I do not want to see bags over the heads of people. I don't want to see empty seats. I know it's tough to sit there and watch this team, but it's our team. You don't turn your back on a team that's struggling. That's when they need you the most. I always liken my favorite team, the Denver Broncos, to family, to my son, to my grandkids. My grandkids do things I don't appreciate and I don't like. I don't turn my back on them and walk away and not talk to them and not support them. No. It hurts. Absolutely it hurts when they don't do the things I want them to do. Of course it hurts, but I don't walk away. And that's what I don't do with the Broncos. I watch every single Broncos game to the very end. It hurts. Absolutely it hurts. But I'm there for them. And I have to be there for them because they're my team. I'm not going to turn my back on them. That's just what I don't do. Okay. I like that, Mark. Bronco Bill and Bronco Marky. I like that. That's good. That's really good. I like that. Okay. Okay, let's go to I like this one. And this is what I'm talking about. It's exactly what I'm talking about. Jerry Wallace says Denver Broncos for life. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes, they're disappointing. Yes, they're frustrating. But you don't turn your back on them. You don't sit there one day because, let me remind you guys, fan is short for fanatic. Fanatic's definition is someone who is crazed about something or someplace. You're a fanatic. You can't be a fan 1 minute and not a fan the next. That to me is called a bandwagoner. And that's what the Charger fans are. They're bandwagoners. They jump on. I know many of them because I'm in Southern California. They jump on when they win. And when they jump off, when they lose, and I go, hey, I thought you were a fan. Nah, they're not doing too well. No, that's not a fan. That's a bandwagoner. I'm not that. And neither is Jerry Walls. I like that. Absolutely. Good job. Okay. Well, this is interesting. Mark from Georgia said, should have signed Kyle Shanahan. The more I think about that, of course we should have. Of course we should have. That was an absolute big mistake that we did not sign or hire Kyle Shanahan. I mean, I know at the time Joe Ellis was still in charge of the Broncos Trust. John Elway was still the GM. And apparently there was some fallout. I guess Joe Ellis didn't like or didn't get along with Shanahan family. And I don't know why. I really don't know why. I know that's an ego trip and I know it's power struggle and I understand that. But Mike Shanahan was great for the Broncos. Back-to-back Super Bowl championships. He was a wonderful head coach. I don't know where the fallout came. But see, that's when you got to put bygones be bygones. Put all that stuff aside. It's the best interest of the team. Not what you feeling inside. Oh, well, I'm Joe Ellis. I'm power struggle. No, you don't do that. You put it aside and you hire the best person for the fit. Okay? I mean, I've heard of Bill Belichick and can't remember the owner's name and doesn't matter. But I've heard that they've butted heads. Jerry Jones butts heads with people all the time. Still hires good coaches. Get the production because you have to. In every job that I've ever been in, I don't get along with my supervisors all the time. I don't get along with some of my coworkers. But if they're good and they're doing a great job, you got to put it aside. You have to for the betterment of the team. And obviously, Joe Ellis couldn't do that. That's why we didn't get Kyle Shanahan. Totally, totally unfortunate. All right. Now, this is interesting. And I want to get your guys' opinion on this. What do you think? NFL fires a warning shot to teams. The NFL has sent out a warning to all 32 teams that it could end up dropping the hammer on any team that deliberately attempts, and I quote, attempts to stop play unnecessarily, end quote, during a game. Pro Football Talk obtained the memo that states the league has noticed an uptake in situations where a player goes down with an injury in order to delay the game. So let's say it's fourth quarter, you have no timeouts. Your defense is getting gassed because the other team's just running the ball and this and that. So you have a guy take a fall and pretend to get hurt. Now, I don't know how the NFL is going to know 100% whether or not the guy really was hurt. Did he have the wind knocked out of him? Did he get hit in the head and now he's got to go in the tent and everything's fine? He didn't have a concussion, whatever. I don't know how they're going to find that out, how they're going to know for sure. But that's interesting. I continue. Should this be deemed unnecessary, the result may be disciplined by the league office as well as any on-field penalty by the game officials. Well, there you go. So if an official on the field deems it not an injury, how's he going to, I mean, seriously, okay, a guy goes down, let's say a quarterback gets sacked, okay? Well, no, we're talking defense, okay, never mind. So let's say a cornerback goes up for a ball, he deflects it away from the receiver, goes down, and then stays on the ground. Because he's gassed, he's tired, they need a break. They have no timeouts left. Okay, well, I understand that would be an incomplete pass. So let's say it's a running play, and they stop him, but they're tired and they're gassed. The guy goes down pretending to have an injury. Does he fake it? I don't know. I don't know how you can determine whether or not a player is faking or not. I mean, it's interesting. Like I said, I don't know how you can evaluate that. Does a guy go in the tent and then the NFL commissioner's on the phone? Hey, got to know, what's the situation with? I don't know. I don't know. But that is going to be interesting to see if they absolutely do come down and basically lay down the law on some of these teams. I would be surprised to see how that's going to work out. I really don't know. I absolutely do not have any idea or any clue how they can determine whether or not a player is faking or not. Well, I mean, obviously, if he jumps up and runs off the field and he claims to have a knee injury, yeah, he's probably faking. But I think the players and the coaches are a little bit smarter than that, going, hey, just stay down. Just stay down and we'll pick you up and we'll carry you off. I don't know. I don't know how that's going to work. I really don't. It's going to be interesting, though. I mean, this is a good question. Mark from Georgia Marina, is tanking a rule? I don't know if it's necessarily a rule. I just know that, the NFL doesn't like teams to tank. That's not what they want. That's not good for ratings. I mean, do the Broncos look like they're tanking? Some people could say they are. I mean, when you only score 9 points in a game, yeah, looks like you're tanking. When you can't score touchdowns, I guess it looks like you're tanking. I don't think that's what the Broncos are doing. I really don't. I absolutely do. I'm not going to even going down that road with the Broncos. But is it a rule? I don't know. I don't know if it's a rule or not. But I do know the NFL does not like it, and they're trying to stop unnecessarily faking an injury so that they can gain that extra unwritten timeout that they don't have. So I think it's good for the game. Like I said, I just don't know how you police that. I just don't know how you determine whether or not a player is really injured or they're faking it. I mean, sometimes all you got to do is watch soccer. We got the World Cup going on. All you got to do is watch soccer, and these guys will, barely get brushed, and they go down. Oh God! I mean, to me, that's faking, and that's they're doing that to try and draw a penalty. So I don't like it. I don't like it one bit. So if the NFL can crack down on that, and it's legit, yeah, I say good for them. Absolutely. All right. Courtland Sutton. Not good news, guys. Courtland Sutton has been ruled out for Sunday's game at home against the Kansas City Chiefs. Sutton has a hamstring injury that kept him out of practice all week. Andrew Beck and DJ Jones are also listed as out. Jerry Jeudy and Brandon McManus, well, we need McManus because that's the only way we score points. Jerry Jeudy and Brandon McManus were limited and expected to play on Sunday. Courtland Sutton's out. Now who do we throw to? I mean, we got Dulwich. I mean, he's about the only one they've been thrown to. We got Jerry Jeudy. I mean, if he hangs on to the ball, what the heck? Who are we going to throw it to? I mean, I don't know. I mean, we're dropping like flies, guys. And the thing that bothers me the most about all of these injuries is it's just compounded. I mean, I can't ever remember this many injuries for any Broncos team in any one season. I really can't. I just have not seen this many season-ending injuries. Guys on IR out 4 weeks plus. I mean, I haven't seen it. And now we got Courtland Sutton down. Doesn't bode well for Sunday's game, guys. Doesn't bode well at all. All right. Thanks, Mark. I appreciate that. I'm glad you agree with me. Not that I'm trying to pat myself on the back. I'm just stating facts. I'm just stating how I see it. Thanks for your support, man. All right. Roster cuts. Wait a minute. Roster cuts? Amid a very bad Broncos season, they have cut offensive tackle Quinn Bailey, linebacker Zach McLeod, and safety Anthony Harris. Why? Why cut players when we got guys dropping like flies? Okay, maybe they're not the best of the best. We ain't got best of the best anymore. So I don't understand why we are cutting these guys when, I mean, offensive tackle, heaven knows we got problems on the offensive line. Why are we cutting players? It doesn't, to me, it doesn't make an ounce of sense. Yes, I mean, we got linebacker in Zach McLeod and safety in Anthony Harris. The defense is doing wonderfully. Maybe we don't necessarily need them on our defense because our defense is holding its own. But an offensive tackle? Seriously? We're going to cut an offensive line player when we don't have that many offensive linemen as backups as it is. But we're going to go ahead and cut them? I don't know. I'm dumbfounded when it comes to this team. I'm stunned. I'm stunned at many, many things with this team. Absolutely many, many teams, you know? And Mark from Georgia, I have to agree 100%. McManus is our MVP, and that is very sad. And the only reason why he's our MVP is because he seems to be the only one to score. You know, I mean, it's sad. I totally agree. It's 100% sad that you have a field goal kicker in a very pathetic season of 3 wins and 9 losses as your quote. And I say quote because he's not really going to be the MVP of the league, or obviously, but you know, you're talking about the team. Yeah, at this point in time, that is very sad, extremely sad. And then he's got a quad injury and he's limited in practice. Oh, great. So what if McManus can't kick? Well, I know he's been not that accurate this year, but nonetheless, you know, I mean, if McManus isn't 100% and we need him to kick a 35, 40-yard field goal, I don't know. It's extremely, extremely sad that McManus is considered, you know, obviously by Mark from Georgia, as well as all you got to do is look at the scores. Yeah, it's sad that he's being considered as the MVP because he's the only one that can score. Extremely sad. All right, last topic, and I know you guys are probably happy to have this whole negative stuff over with, but here it is. Last topic. Kansas City 9-3 at Denver 3-9. Here it is. This is the first of 2 quick games against the Chiefs. The second game will be week 17 with the Cardinals and Rams sandwiched in between. Okay? Now, let's skip past the Chiefs for a moment. Cardinals and Rams. Cardinals are at home in Denver. Rams are on the road Christmas Day. They're not going to get flexed out of Christmas Day because I believe it's a 105 game, so that's not going to happen. But where would they flex it to? Oh, they probably could flex it to like 5 in the morning when nobody's watching. Of course, I'm being facetious, guys. Okay. Cardinals, is that a winnable game? Not at this point. Are the Rams a winnable game? I don't know. They did okay last night against the Raiders. And they've got Baker Mayfield. Where the heck did that come from? Can we beat the Cardinals or Rams? I don't know. I just found it interesting that they're not having that greatest season. Rams are the same record as we are, 3-9. I don't even know if we can beat the Rams, tell you the truth, even with Baker Mayfield. And they only scored, what, 17 points? Oh, well, they probably can win because Denver only scores 9. All right, I continue back to the Chiefs game. Does anyone think or feel that Denver has any chance in this game? Personally, I do not. I do not. And neither does the NFL because that's why they flexed them out of Sunday night. Do I think the Broncos are going to win this game? No. Nope. And I know I've picked the Broncos to win games earlier in the season because I really thought that they could. At this point in time, I don't see that. Absolutely do not see that. Do I hope they're going to win? Sure I do. Am I going to watch the game? Absolutely. In fact, I'll be calling the game with Madungus on our neighborhood show on Sunday. So yes, I do think the Broncos could win this game. But it's going to take a miracle. Absolutely going to take a miracle. I think the defense is going to have to win these games. They're going to have to get touchdowns on their own. A pick six, a fumble return for a touchdown, a blocked field goal returned, something. It's not going to come from the offense that I see as the way the offense is playing now. Not with Patrick Mahomes, not with Travis Kelce. And I know that they don't have Hunt anymore. And I know that they don't have, there's the other one. Is it Hill? Yeah, I know they don't have those players. They don't need them. They got Patrick Mahomes. I mean, the kid's a wizard. It's going to be interesting. And I don't want to see this at all, guys. I really don't want to see this. But it's going to be very interesting to see if there's empty seats in Mile High, or worse yet, and yeah, it's going to be worse than empty seats, if it's mostly Kansas City fans. I don't want to hear defensive chant, defense, when the Broncos have the ball. I don't want to hear that. I also don't want to see red in the stands. I want to see orange or blue. I don't want to see red. But I'm afraid and fearful it's going to be more of a Kansas City home game for them than it will be a Broncos home game. And that bothers me big time because I don't like that. This is our stadium. This is our team. This is our state. This is our city, not Kansas City's. I don't want to see it, but I'm fearful that that's what's going to happen. And that bothers me big time. Final score, guys, it's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be pretty. And I don't think the defense is going to give up a whole lot of points, but I still have to say this score. And here it is. Kansas City, 24. Denver, yeah, you guessed it, guys, 9. Because that's all we seem to get. Do I want it to be that? Absolutely not. But what do I got to go on? What in heaven's name do I have to go on? But what we've already seen. Okay? I hope I'm wrong. Absolutely hope I'm wrong. I've been, hoping that I've been wrong on the 9 games we've lost. I just don't see it against the Kansas City Chiefs. And if this game is a home game for the Chiefs, it's going to be ugly. The ownership is going to be absolutely frustrated beyond belief and beyond control. And so is Broncos country. We've had it, guys. We've had it up to here with the way this team is. Please, guys, don't let it be a Kansas City home game. That's all I'm saying. Don't let it be a home game. Okay. Mark from Georgia says, no, Bill, say 16 points. Okay. 16 points for who? Kansas City? 16-9? That's a 1-score differential. The defense can hold Kansas City to 16 points. I absolutely believe that. I just don't know if the defense has given up. Not because the defense doesn't care. Of course they do. These guys are proud people. They're playing for the love of the game, for their career. They're not going to tank it. But it's Kansas City. We haven't seen Kansas City. This is the first game we're going to see them all year. Kansas City's 9-3, guys, for a reason. Are they beatable? Absolutely, they're beatable. I'm just not sure that they're beatable on the hands of the Denver Broncos. That's what I'm not sure of. 16 points. Okay, I'll rephrase it. How about 16-9? But okay. All right, Mark, I'll give this to you. No. 16 points for us. Whew. I'm not quite sure where you're getting that from, Mark. I'm really not. I mean, I know we scored 20 points or 23 points in one game. I know we did. But that seems light years away. I mean, when the Broncos are averaging 13.5 points a game, it's kind of tough to get 2.5 more points to make it 16. I like where you're coming from. I absolutely like where you're coming from. Now, if we can score 16 and we can hold the Chiefs to, like, say 10, like we did Baltimore. Well, of course, the Chiefs are much better in Baltimore. But if we can do that, sure. Absolutely, there's a possibility of Denver winning this game. I'm just not 100% convinced that we can score 16 points. Now, the Chiefs' defense is suspect. They're a little porous. They've given up some points this year to teams. Absolutely. But Denver just needs to find a way to get that magic number. Like you said, just got to get that magic number. I agree. And if we can get 16 points and hold Kansas City, even 13 or 14, sure, I'll take that all day long. I absolutely want to come on this show next Friday and say, oh my gosh, what a phenomenal win that the Broncos got. That was absolutely not even seen. And I guess the NFL would just be bummed out completely that they flexed the Broncos and Chiefs out of Sunday night. That's what I want to come on and say next week. I just don't know if that's going to be a reality. I want it to be. Absolutely want it to be a reality. You kidding me? I'm tired of this 6-game losing streak or 5-game or whatever we are. I don't even know how many games we've lost in a row because I lost track. I can't remember the last time we won. I think it was in London. That seems like light years away too. So anyways, I agree. I will rephrase. I'll say, okay, Denver scores 16. My question then is, on going out and ending the show, my question then is, if Denver scores 16, does the Broncos defense hold the Chiefs to 14 points or less? That's it, guys. That's all I have. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for all you guys in the chat for chiming in. Thanks to Mark, to Avatar, to Madungus, whom else? Martin, Jerry. Thank you, all you guys, for chiming in. Really appreciate it. It makes the show that much more engaging. I like to bring you guys in. I think it works. It's great to have this dialogue, and I'm glad you guys showed up and brought your thoughts. Really, really appreciate it, guys. In going out, the shows are on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. So tune in to any of those shows you want. They start at 4:30 as well as 5 o'clock. Tune into them. You'll love the shows. And guys, until next Friday, enjoy your weekend, and let's hope for a Bronco miracle on Sunday. All right, guys, thanks a lot for watching. Thanks for subscribing. We will talk to you next Friday. Till then, take care. Bye-bye.